we are good to go, Legends. I think we are ready to fly. I'm going to let the Discord Legends know, and then we're going to get after it. Good theme today. Real good theme today. We got, a discussion with regards to just the consolidation of market environment and how automation really showcases that, and nonetheless a really good example again of why automation is needed in your everyday, because in examples such as these, when markets are slow, trades aren't as available, and it alludes back into when you are manually trading, that is when issues tend to take place. You feel as if though you need to force setups, you need to go and try to create something that is not necessarily there. And so really good example of this week, and nonetheless just overall good lessons for the Legends. Let's send the announcement out and then we will get going. Sound is still quiet like last video. Let's take a look and see if I can fix that. Alright. Let's see if I can adjust the audio 100%. I don't know. We'll figure out the settings. You guys definitely know that we will get it down. Little technical difficulties here and there, but we will certainly get it down. I don't know. I think it's something on my settings that I have to figure out. I think somewhere under the input volume, but I'm not entirely sure. And my input volume is at the highest that it can get to. So yeah, I mean, let me know if this is getting a little bit better for you, Legends. But if not, I will definitely take a look into it, and we will certainly get it figured out for the following streams. I'll also speak a little bit louder too, just so we can get the emphasis going. You know the business, Legends. But let me know if this is a little bit better. If it is not better and it is still impossible to hear me, please let me know. But nonetheless, Legends, welcome back to another live stream. Last live stream was absolutely amazing. We killed it. We held down the fort. I appreciate all of you getting involved. And yeah, like I said, these are going to be taking place every Sunday, Wednesday, and Friday. Main theme always, we're going to review the trades that we fired away for the week and to begin with, and then additionally as well, just talking about the different themes in context to what is going on from a market environment standpoint, as well as different ways that you can go about utilizing game plans in context to, for example, software such as the toolkit that we have, which is a part of the Miracle membership. It's a promo we're running right now. Definitely take advantage of it, Legends, if you are not. Yeah, Legends, be a little bit mix of everything. You know the business. We're here to have fun and more importantly, learn and keep progressing. And so, yeah, Legends, jumping straight into it. Markets definitely this week a little bit slower than normal. That is a given. And makes sense, right? We're going to start off with the FX side here and then move on. But definitely makes sense. You're not going to always have, consistent conditions across the board. My drawing tool is just getting a little bit messed up in there. But nonetheless, you're never going to have consistent conditions across the board, at least not straight out of the gates. You can definitely just see here, just to begin with, market is definitely more in a consolidated stance. Let's see if I bring this down a little bit. That is much better for us. But yeah, so market is definitely in a consolidated stance, regardless of where you're looking at in context to whether it's yen or it's USD. We're definitely into some more. I'm getting some suggestions here real quick. 100%. I appreciate you, Legend. Yes, absolutely. So yeah, conditions across the board are definitely a little bit more range bound than we were used to, right? Jumping straight into it. I'm gonna switch the brush. Hopefully this works. Yes, looks good. It's not. I got the magnet on. That's why. All right, I was like, why are you not a smooth? So market as a whole, notifications, please turn off. Okay, one more time, Legends. One more time. Market as a whole was obviously super bearish to start for the last couple of weeks now. Obviously, with everything going on with the Bank of Japan. And so, of course, you're going to get some type of correction. You're going to get some type of relief. And at some point, price is always going to consolidate. This is where liquidation takes place, profit taking. Also, stability within price. This is super important. Economies across the board cannot be moving and fluctuating at such a grand rate, right? It's a good example for all my crypto legends out there who are just understanding more of how a new emerging market gets brought into the ecosystem. And so, yeah, stability is required. You're never going to have these free-flowing environments. And so, yeah, I think across the board with the amount of signals that we fired away at with Miracle this week, I think we've done 12 so far. We've taken 1 loss, 11 wins. Not a bad week, but still nothing too crazy. From the FX side, it's been all wins. From the indices side, we did just have our first loss this morning. We did actually take our first crypto loss this week in the entirety of it, but that no trade was sent this week in context to cryptos. That was a previous week signal. And then, yeah, it's just been a slow week across the board. We're going to start with the FX side, and then we'll get into the other environments. But nonetheless, big theme, big thing you can see across the board. Again, right? Automation is a reflection of the conditions that is taking place within the market. The less frequency we're exhibiting and seeing just simply showcases the current conditions that are taking place. And this is ultimately what you really want to be in, because you don't want to be in an environment where you feel as if though your human side starts to come out, and that ultimately starts to create more problems. This is really the beauty of automation. And so, yeah, legends, let's jump into it. Going to take a look at the first signal that we fired away at. I believe it was UJ. And of course, the yen pairs have been the pairs that have been popping off a little bit more, just because, again, economically, what is going on. And yeah, first trade on the 25th, and then we will take a look at GJ and some of the other positions as well. Once again, legends, if you are not aware, the toolkit is available for free. For those that are a Miracle member, this is a huge special. It's a way for you to use our automated signals in tandem with automated analysis. You can go ahead and build a wide variety of plays. You can ultimately, of course, take the current signals that are fired away and go ahead and utilize your own analysis and create additional plays. It is a massive add-on to your existing arsenal. Definitely take advantage. It is a definite steal. Nonetheless, let's jump into it. UJ sells, I believe, was the beginning play of the week. Market's still entirely bearish, right? You can definitely see that, whereas my drawing tool, I'm not used to these trading view tools here, legends. Sometimes I speak a little bit too fast and my words it's like, you know what I mean? But anyways, legends. Market is bearish for sure. Depending on the way you look at it, it is extremely bearish, but it is bearish nonetheless. First trade of the week fired away. Taking a look at 143.57 on Sunday on the 25th. So let's just circle back. Where is the 25th? So kind of finishing off right around here. So let's start with that first signal. I want to take a look to the left here and kind of see environmentally what was going on, but 143.57 was the first signal. So really kind of really early, actually it was I guess Monday, but yeah, really quick type of trade, just taking this to the downside. Let's take a look at why it was so short term. Okay, definitely for sure when we take a look, we can definitely just see we're pulling into some previous structure within here. So if you do take a look across the board, right, you're definitely going to have some type of rejection, and that is why, again, it is super important to be mindful that if you are ever going to play past where the initial targets are of the signals, you make sure you put stops to break even, just because you never want a winner to turn into a loser. But this was a super smooth play. Excelsius attempted to give a shot. We can definitely see, again, market has been bearish for a really long time. We can definitely see that we're trending in a nice stance here. But regardless, right, even if you do get this nice downtrend and you do get short-term continuation plays, right, price is going to attempt. That's the name of trading, right? You're rolling the dice, simply trying to get a certain type of statistic out of it, as long as you're rolling the dice the same way every single time. In this case, we're moving further and further after we're breaking down this ascending structure for so long. And so, nonetheless, great sell, but of course makes sense on why price has pulled back. And since then, right, nothing has really taken place. Price has just been in a range. And this is, again, really important to be mindful of, because if I circle back and I take all my drawings away and I just look at where we are in a bigger picture, yes, price is descending, and yes, this was the correction, and you're in a continued corrective movement for sure. But be mindful, right? You are starting to develop. If price cannot get through these bases here, right, you are going to start to be in a range-bound environment, and even more so currently, you're in a shorter-term range-bound environment, right? So this is important, because when you do get these short-term plays, short-term sells, short-term buys, key thing I'm saying here is short-term again, right? Unless environmentally things start to change from a higher time frame standpoint, you're going to continue to have these shorter term plays. And nonetheless, Excelsius's automations are built on specific types of variables that are required to compete in the game, which is why you see less trades than usual. Because just environmentally, things are range bound. And so that was the first trade, though, and the only trade that we've competed at with UJ for the week. Very weird, right? Just because we've, I think, sent in the last 6 weeks like 80, 90 USD JPY trades. And so, yeah, but nonetheless, just reflection of the conditions as a whole. Nice little dip there that we did get. We did compete, but you got to be mindful of, again, where you're pushing into. Yeah, nonetheless, just super smooth play on that side. Then moving into the GJ side here, we can see that we've had 1, 2, and 2 signals sent from GJ side. British Blitz is a new strategy, not a new strategy, just an updated strategy that was benched because she was getting beat up a little bit. We made some tweaks to her, and she is competing once again. So welcome back, British Blitz. Pound yen, one of the pound yen strategies that we have. First signal fired away on the 27th, and then second signal on the 28th. Okay, so let's circle back here on 27th. Also, this was something that was discussed in the chat room. All the miracle signals are built off of the Oanda feed. They're all generated through there, just if you ever want to kind of match prices in context to where quotes are. We all build off of the Oanda feed. So just take that into consideration. 27th, 191.05 was the first trade. Good entry, right? You can definitely see nice real. And again, I talk about this all the time, legends. I talk about this all the time. The quality of a signal is all based on the extent of the movement that takes place post. Now, in the last UJ example, for sure, right? You didn't see a grand movement, but it's not like price went anywhere either. It's in the same environment because the sell was mint, right? It was like this. It was like it competed. You see, even though it was on par. But yeah, this GJ trade, smooth. So 191.05 first entry. I believe this is a 30-minute strategy anyway, so we're not going to see the entry exactly unless I drop to the 30. But I'm just trying to give you guys a higher time frame perspective as a whole. First entry was here, and we did TP. Stops were at 190.24. So even if you wanted to run to the additional targets, you certainly could have, because these stops were never even touched. Something I like to talk about all the time as well. If you do want to run to additional targets, you certainly can. This is where the toolkit comes into play, legends. Let's say, for example, right, you get this GJ trade, 191.05. Boom, you're in. Okay, now you're saying to yourself, I like it. TP1 hit. Maybe we can run to TP2. Things like that as well. You certainly can. You can use the toolkit for additional areas to be mindful of where you're pulling into, right? As this is still running, you're definitely pulling into a top. Toolkit showing you that's an area of sensitivity. Be mindful of that. You can use them in tandem for targets as well. You could, of course, just taken this entry and said, hey, I don't necessarily want to, shove stops to break even. I like to be a little bit more aggressive, so I'm just going to keep managing as this develops new structure. You can do that as well, right? So possibilities are endless. Really nice, smooth trade. And then we got another entry today. And you know what's pretty wild, legends? You know what's pretty wild? This entry was at the exact same place as the last entry by 4 ticks difference. Different stops and everything, of course. But the first entry was 191.05. The second entry was 191.054. What are the odds? What are the odds? But anyways, second entry 054. And again, really smooth play. Let's drop just the intra here because this did just happen at 8:30 this morning. So let's take a look at 8:30 right here. Okay, boom. And again, just super, super small short-term play that took place. We can just see here entry at 054, wherever my 054 is, but our entry was here. And then we can just see a nice short-term continued push. Nothing too crazy, 15, 20 pips. And you might say to yourself again, why environmentally am I not getting a crazy push? And this is, again, just a great example of if you do want to try to take these short-term plays, run them and see if you can actually get this continued movement. Just protect the capital, right? Because you can obviously see price reversed. This would have not touched your stops. Actually, yeah, it would have touched your stops if you... No. 528, 528, 528, 528, 528. So, again, we get the movement, and then if you don't manage, right, you're going to have to deal with that. It doesn't take you out. You get another chance again, which this would have went to the next TPs, but it's not advisable. The biggest thing is just once TP1 hits, shove stops to break even. If you do want, of course, go ahead. And then my advice always, though, is if you do want to run your stops further, that's when you get back into a market structure state. Because very simply, I'm not one that agrees with you should manage your stops below like candle lows or candle highs or, below the last pre, whatever it is. That's nonsense. I think it's absolute nonsense. Stops should be managed through a state of how the trend is going to form, which is market structure. That is the name of the game. That is the law of the game. That is the whole foundation of the game. That's why we talk about all the time. Again, we're not here to ever talk down, ever, on any one style of trading, because we're a big believer that the beauty in trading is the fact that you have this unlimitedness associated in context to style and creativity. But it's extremely important that we call a spade in context to what the game is. And the game is a series of highs and lows. Nothing more, nothing less. It can move in one of two directions. It can move upwards and it can move downwards. That's it, right? And so when you have other concepts that come into play, and I'm not going to directly call them out, right? It's not to say that they're incorrect, but it's super important that they reflect the nature of what the game is to begin with, and then everything else is a bell and whistle. That's the most important thing. So in context to this example, right, when we're talking about capital protection, when we're talking about getting trades, it's really important, really, really important that if you do take trades and you do want to run them past further targets, right, you do go ahead and protect your capital initially, and then you further adjust with market structure as the trend develops. Because again, when you're putting your stops inside areas that do not reflect the sheer nature of what is representing or making up that given market point, there is a higher probability that ultimately your trade is going to get stopped fundamentally because pullbacks, relief, profit taking, relief, liquidation, that is all a natural state of the game. And more times than not, they tend to sit in areas where they don't reflect where market structure has formed. You need a lot more volume to take out these more significant areas. So just super important to be mindful of. Nonetheless, though, great example again. But again, across the board, you're not going to get those grand movements right now. You're not going to get these. The first signal of the week, you did get a nice free-flowing play. But then at that point, right, you can definitely see here, which was where... No. We're right around here. At some point when you can't get past this previous high and price definitely decides to start establishing itself as more of a range-bound environment within certain price areas, any movement you get inside is going to be short-term. So that's why, again, it's super important to be mindful of this higher time frame environment. One thing you can do with the toolkit as well, which is super, super cool, is if you wanted, right, you could go ahead and just change your entire layout to represent that higher time frame structure as well, right? So if you wanted, you could just have your daily key levels here, or your daily rejection zones and things like that, and ultimately you can just see where these higher time frame levels are sitting. And again, you're getting these buys, right? But you can definitely see that price is sitting at that higher price point right now, and that's really important just to be mindful of in context too, if you're going to try to take those trades. Nonetheless, though, FX has been slower because environmentally, and just because we're on FX real quick, I'll take a look at the other pairs just to kind of see what's going on, because we do have alerts set on everything. But yeah, again, nothing too crazy from like last week into this week, right? You get 2-3 days of consolidation. Probably this is the first real significant day of movement in context to EU, but still pretty range bound from last week into this week, right? And then if you want to look at just DXY across the board, because that's just more reflective of a lot of conditions, again, right? You're seeing environments, and let's look at things in a little bit more of a longer stance here real quick, instead of not necessarily like too crowded. But you're just seeing things in a much more of a range-bound environment. You can just see at this point it is very, very sideways. Even though inside you are having these nice grand movements and you did have this existing push, you have to be mindful. You are in shorter-term environments as well, where eventually that will cause price to chop and consolidate. And yeah, nonetheless, right, that's expected. And that brings us to the next market I want to review, which is the commodities market, specifically gold to start with, right? Gold just went and hit an all-time high, and so of course at some point that's going to chop as well. I believe we fired away at, I believe, 1 gold, 2 gold, no, one gold signal and one silver signal, and that's it. We knocked them both out as well, so that was cool. But again, just super, super short term in context to the plays, right? Because again, conditionally, you're in environments where they're going to be a little bit more, shorter term in context to plays. Maybe longer term stance, right? You can definitely get just continued nice significant movements. But for these shorter term environments right now, price definitely more chopped. And so weekly, daily, monthly, all pretty range bound right now. And it looks like that's kind of where we're sitting within. The gold entry that we had started with was yesterday, which is, today's 28th, so it's the 27th. 25.14.81 on the 27th, 25.14. So pretty good entry actually on the gold side of things, right? We had this 25.14 entry, and we got a rally as high as 25. No, we had 2 gold entries actually. My apologies, legends. We had 2 gold signals that we had sent. 25.14 was the first one, and that rallied as high as 25.29. So super, super great entry there. And then the second entry was 25.20, which came out at 2 p.m. So let's look at the first one, which was 11 a.m. So I'm on the 1 hour, right? Yeah, but I don't know why. Okay. 27. Yeah, well, one of them has to be around here. Here. Okay. So first entry. Whoops. Go back. Yep. Okay. First entry, we fired away somewhere around here on the 11 handle. Or my Discord's off. Oh, no. 25, 14, 81. One of these candles at 11 a.m. wick through. 25, 14, 18, whatever it is. That's the entry. 25, 14. I can't even speak. That's the entry. Nonetheless, we take an entry within here. Beautiful. Okay. 25, 14. I'm gonna assume it's not this candle, because that's the 10 a.m. close. This is the 11 a.m. close. But this got as high as, again. So it's somewhere around here. It's because the way the strategy is built off of a 5-minute wick entry, and so that's why, again, even though I'm looking at things on a higher time frame. But anyways, we get in through here. We weren't in that much drawdown. I know that because I know we didn't enter on this time. But anyways, we get in 25, 14. We get the run. Second entry, 25, 20. And so I'm going to assume that bad boy's here as well. So two pretty decent entries, right? First one obviously better because you're getting it the 25-14 handle, you know, the 85, wherever it is. Second one's here. Again, both of them had good movement to go, right? You just got to be mindful, again, environmentally. If you can't break the tops, what's going to happen, right? So just keep that in mind in context to the plays. But great entries overall. Good examples, again, of just how the trades go, past TP1. And you could definitely run them. Just make sure that you're mindful of what could happen if price cannot continue. Use the toolkit. Toolkit's literally telling you, listen, you are at resistance. Price fails to break, we are going to drop, right? And then again, you could just quickly, if you wanted to, start to see, you can start to change this down. You can just start to see when this started to, potentially start to change to the downside. Actually, it was just considered it bearish the whole time. You go lightning, and then you'll see a lot quicker movements in that regard. But yeah, nonetheless, right? You get these short-term buys. You get one here. I don't think this is where the entry was, because that says 16 o'clock. That'd be 4 in the afternoon. But anyways, you get that 25-14. You get that second one. And then you got to be mindful of where you're just pushing into overall. But anyways, good gold trades. Really smooth. First one, 25-14. Second one, 25-20. Both of them pushed, significantly more than where their initial take profits were. So that was nice. And then silver, taking a look at silver yesterday, it took profit, but I know this was a quick trade as well. Good trade structure though. Really good trade structure. So you're like making pretty quick returns on this one here. 30.07 is the entry. 30.07 on the 27th, somewhere around there. What time? 3 p.m. Okay, somewhere around here. Oh, I have a different time zone on. I'm looking at the time legends, and I'm like, why can I not understand the charts? Yeah, my time zone's off. The time zone's been off, legends. Ridiculous. Anyways, 30.07. Entry here. Yeah, I'm looking at this. Legends. I'm like thinking I'm going insane here for a second, I'm like, what is going on? But anyways, we're here. 30.07. TP1 hit. Really short term though. Really short term. Stop was like 29.77. So just like right here. And then 2 and 3 as well. Didn't get a chance to run further. But let's take a look environmentally. Why real quick. Not much to talk about on the weekly or daily. I mean, the only thing that I could say, like, from a structural standpoint, that's what I was thinking, right? Like, I knew to go to the 3-month because I'm taking a look at this on the monthly right now, and I can just see to the left here that this was failing to break through. So if you just, again, Legends, I always tell people this, everything's fractal, right? So if you just look at things in context to just each time frames, you'll be able to see everything. So if I went back to like the 3-month chart here, I can just see again, we are at a major area, like serious area. Like we're talking like a 2021 high, a 3-year high that we're failing to get through on silver, right? And so makes sense on why price is just consolidating or having its issue. Depending on which way you look at it, price still might be bearish, but still very range bound environment as a whole. Very short term when this trade took place, and you got to be mindful of that as well. I always tell people again, right? Like if you do have trades where they are just stuck in range bound environments, and you get in this initial trade and it's just really choppy, and you're kind of stuck, and then eventually you get this push and TP1 hits, right? Again, just the name of the game is money management. Some of these trades are going to be those trades that give you those runs, right? Some of these trades are not going to be those trades. That's why, again, it's very important that you're just keeping the same money management principles and you're simply keeping the trade execution the same with the automation, with the signals. You don't have to worry about if the trade execution is going to be the same. That's our job. Your job is just to make sure that you're protecting your capital properly and you're managing your risk accordingly. You do that, we do our job, and we are rocking and rolling together. That's the name of the game. Nonetheless, silver signal went through, super smooth. Can't say much about it except just conditions are ranged, right? And then we had no equity market signals. We had a signal from a prior week that did TP, which was Apple. We talked about that in the last stream, right? Apple was fired away at 227, and then 228.52. This went as high as 229, so you could have ran this for like another dollar or two if you wanted to. Trade's still valid, of course, right? Because stops are way below here. So obviously you could try to run this for a new high if you wanted to. I'm sure we'll have more signals that come out, but this did TP from last week, which was great. Jumping into the cryptos real quick. XRP did take its loss. If someone wants to clip it, they can. I literally called it. I was like, cryptos, we haven't taken a loss yet since launching Miracle. Hopefully our first loss doesn't come in. And of course, what had happened? Our first loss had come in, right? But anyways, it is what it is. We entered at 62, took a loss at 58. Can't complain much about that. We got taken out on, I think it was this initial rip right here. That's all right. It is what it is. Not going to complain too much. That's why we have stops, because you can obviously see if we didn't, further movement is to the downside, and that is not what we are looking for, right? Name of the game is capital protection. Protect that capital, live to trade another day, give yourself more opportunities, right? So, nonetheless, that was cryptos and stocks. Nothing too crazy in there. And then last but not least, the indices. Nothing too crazy. We sent 1, 2, and 4. 4 indices. 1 win, 1 loss, 2 pending. Let's take a look. US 30. Let's just take a look at the more recent ones that happened. So we had this US 30 trade, initial one that we fired away at. First one of the week was at 41.25.2. So this was around at 3 p.m. So that is to right around here. First signal was fired around here into the end of the evening. So of course cannot have that much liquidity. And then towards the London, New York crossover, we did get into TP1. However, that did trigger another trade at the 31.06 handle right here. And unfortunately, that trade did in fact take a loss. It is what it is. Now we do, though, have another subset of this US 30. I'm gonna talk about the conditions in just a sec, what is going on environmentally. But we do have another subset of this trade that did come out at the same time, actually, that second signal at the same time, but with a little bit of a different trade structure. Stops much deeper around here because that strategy is built off of the 4-hour time frame, and so stops are just, again, based off of previous points right now, and so tough to say what's going to happen if we want to throw a little bit of behavioral analysis in there. Legends, I still got it a little bit. You got a little impulse here, a little bit of consolidation, then you'll see these runs, and then you'll see a little bit of consolidation, and then you'll see a run again. So you might be in one of these phases. The question just becomes, how deep of a correction does this take place? Does it go deeper, or does it eventually, right, start to, leg back and you get another continued run like this? That's really just the name of the game. So for those, this could be a trade that you do look to build into, because Excelsius is still bullish on it. Great example again of how you could start to use the toolkit and saying to yourself, hey, here's a signal that they do have running right now. It is in some drawdown. Let me see if I can build some entries to further, just aid the position. Obviously, keep in mind a fixed risk amount that you want to use, because you don't want to keep building and developing to, next thing you know, have a larger portion than what's required. If that is not something you had considered when you initially took this trade, then don't do it for this trade, and then maybe do something from a demo standpoint and you map it out for future scenarios, right? Super important. Again, you're just keeping in mind the type of risk protocol you want to go into, but a lot of potential, right? Because when you have a stop that's a little bit larger, that's based on a higher time frame type of structure here, you have a lot that you could build within. Whether you want to start to size in your position here and then maybe say to yourself, hey, I'll drop down to a smaller time frame and I'll wait for this correction to take place and maybe look for another entry back to the upside, right? That's always a possibility as well. Or you can look for further entries if price does start to make a deeper pullback into this region here, right? You definitely can look for those as well. And so, again, super unique. You can use the toolkit just to automate that analysis for you, show you where those key points are going to be, and you say to yourself, okay, hey, I know that this is going to be an area of contention, right? Let me see if maybe I go ahead and just kind of change the market pace to a little bit more of a quicker environment. We should start to see levels within here, and I can kind of be more mindful of that as well. So nonetheless, great example of how you can just go and take that signal and build different types of styles inside as well. Lot of opportunity. So those were the two US 30 trades, and then 3 US 30 trades actually. My apologies. Last but not least, NAS 100, another great example of how you can go about building in this as well. I think we were very close to hitting TP this morning. No, we weren't. Were we? No, we weren't. Were we? Were we? No, we weren't. Were we? Maybe. I don't know. Anyways, took an entry 19768 in some drawdown right now. By the way, I just want to mention on this NAS trade and just those NAS strategies moving forward, we are going to be taking a look at those stop losses. Those are quite large, but again, they're just based on the way that Excelsius reads the market structure, but we are going to be taking a look into that strategy. But again, if you are fixing risk per trade, again, it doesn't matter what the stop loss size is, but I just want you legends to know that is something that we are going to be looking into. But nonetheless, definitely this is taking a bearish stance for the moment. Higher time frame, though, is still bullish, so it's kind of tough to say right now, right? How long this is going to hold for, because you are looking for that continued movement for sure. Monthly's bullish, weekly bullish, daily's bullish, 4 hour just recently turned bearish, trying to get rid of my drawing tool. There we are. So again, you're kind of saying to yourself, right, if you do get these short-term plays, they are short-term, but you still want to be looking for that bigger play back to the upside, just because equity market as a whole is in a bullish stance. It's something that you want to keep in mind. And so right now, currently, we are in some drawdown, but great examples of how you can still look to build. Depends on the style of trader you are. You could be someone that starts building on rejection entries. You could be someone that says, hey, I want to wait for confirmation before I take another entry. Or you could say, hey, let it pull back further. And then again, you could either take entries on a rejection play, or maybe you could size in, wait for further structure to break down, and then build your position. That's the cool thing with the toolkit. It's going to provide you all the analysis. You just have to simply decide how you want to go about attacking the market, and that's the unique thing behind it. All in all, though, slower week for us, just, again, because we're used to roughly 30, 40 plus trades a week. We've only sent out 12 so far. And so, yeah, nothing too crazy across the board. we do have some new strategies that are coming out in the coming days, so we are really excited to release those. And we are going to be getting a little bit more into the crosses now. When we first launched Miracle, we just wanted to make sure that we covered all dollar pairs, as well as the main pairs, which are the dollar pairs, your commodities, your cryptos, and stocks. And now we're going to start opening up a little bit more, so we can just, of course, provide more frequency to you legends and just overall more trades. But nonetheless, again, just a really great example of how the automation as a whole is a reflection of the consolidation that's taking place within the conditions, and just why a lot of times from a manual standpoint, tremendous amount of legends would have issues when it comes to times like these, just because you get used to trading in a certain style or certain routine. Next thing you know, market takes a break from that type of pace, and now that causes some type of issues, just because it's just, again, not the norm, as well as, of course, not what we're looking for, right? We like volatility as traders. Volatility is our friend. And so, yeah. But nonetheless, again, still a good week overall. We can't complain. It just happens to be the name of the game. And so in times like these, I tell my legends, listen, while we love to chart and we love to compete and we love to trade, let the market work for you. So these are the times where you can go and enjoy your free time and let the market figure itself out. And when the market starts moving in more of a free-flowing state, hey, wait for those miracle signals to kick in. Set your blueprint notifications. For those that don't know, we do have an automated strategy builder, which you can go and create trades and create an unlimited amount of strategies and just make the market work for you and ultimately let it figure itself out. This is the beauty of automation. You can completely throw away those human elements and just allow the data to, of course, take the lead, take the charge. And so, yeah, legends, if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out. If not, that is, of course, going to conclude today's live stream. Once again, legends, thank you so much for the continued support. Can't tell you in words how grateful we all are here at Pink Sand just for the constant support. We're really proud of what we're doing here. And yeah, nonetheless, once again, for those that are not a part of it, Miracle is the first ever pay-as-you-gain signal subscription service where we track the trades that are sent to you, and your subscription is 100% dictated by the performance of the trades. If the performance is good, we will, of course, continue your membership. If the performance is not good, we will pause your subscription. You continue to get access for free. We'll change up our strategies, get you back in the green, and then continue onwards together. And so, super unique, one-to-one parallel type of system. Nonetheless, legends, thank you so much for the continued support. Be on the lookout. New updates across the board. Really excited. We got a new big feature coming out for all Miracle members. And then we're also doing some server updates. I know we've been getting those unlimited alerts kind of firing away. And then aside from that, just new strategies are about to be pumped in as well. And then V4 fractal analysis is coming out, so be on the lookout. Nonetheless, legends, have a wonderful rest of your week. Remember, these live streams take place Sunday, Wednesday, Friday, weekly, 1 p.m. Eastern. Recordings always available on YouTube. Miracle, it's free to join, get access, get started, get the toolkit as well. It's part of being a Miracle member. I'll see you all, legends, in the next live stream. Have a wonderful rest of your day and have a wonderful